And we are off and running. It is Monday, July 28th, 2025, and you are listening to the Andrew Gosser Show on 103.9 WYAB. We're streaming on Rumble. We're streaming on X. We're streaming on YouTube. And we're streaming on that social media platform that begins with a F, but we don't like to say the name, fam. And we're also streaming at the mothership, WYAB.com. Look, if you want to be part of the program today, we'd love to have you. That number is 601 879 0002. Lock it into your phone. If you want to text me, I love that too. The texts have been awesome this weekend. 601 879 5060. Lock that one in too. If you're listening on X or Rumble or YouTube, do me a favor, like the stream, share it out. Let's get it rocking and rolling. And we've got so much to talk about today. So much to talk about today because why? We are going to equip the saints. When you're equipped, you're able to do things better. You've got your equipment. We just got to make sure we keep our equipment in shape. Look, this came from a unknown texter. Those who forsake the law praise the wicked, but those who keep the law stay with them. And that is so true. As this world is falling apart, you're seeing lawlessness and recklessness. You're seeing all sorts of crazy stuff. Maybe nothing more crazier than what happened in Michigan this weekend with that stabbing. You're going to see a lot more of that. Knife crime is huge in Europe. Why? They don't got guns. Here, if you have a gun, even if you're not holding that weapon effectively, you're still able to defend yourself. And we're going to talk about that for sure. You got the NFL ticket scandal going on. A lot of people didn't talk about that much, but it is blowing up. Players trying to get rich. Of course, there's going to be a story on Musk and Epstein. Got to keep on top of that. And it's a really good story that's out that's talking about, everything that Musk did 7 weeks ago. He's actually achieved his political goals, and we'll talk about that. We got to talk to our man, What's the Deal, John, about it's a great day to be a Democrat. We got some news there. Other stuff going on. We're in the second hour, we're going to really talk about Mississippi local politics. Two great stories out of Mississippi today. And it's not because it's written well. It's not. But the thing about it is that if you read between the lines and you can actually go in to pull out some nuggets of information, it's actually working pretty good. We got a story on organ harvesting and how there are places out there that are harvesting organs while people are still alive. And I didn't believe this at first, but hey, it's out there. And for my last part of the show, the one thing I want to talk about, that what I did this weekend, I was doing show prep all weekend. And I didn't even get a chance to talk about this actually, but we ended up watching a show that came out in 1996. And it is absolutely frightening how they're making fun of the woke, how they're making fun of technology, how they're making fun of AI. And now you look at it and you're wondering if half of that stuff would even make it onto the air today. But there's nowhere else to start than daddy. NATO called Trump daddy. And Trump is in Scotland making deals. And he's got the EU basically on lockdown. What a great job he did. And he is playing the left and the haters like a fiddle. And they just make one step, and it's like they're purposely walking onto the landmines and grenades that he's dropping. It's awesome. But first of all, this intro from CNN, it's like presidential night. It's like they're getting ready to elect a president. Check this. This is clip one. Go.
President Donald Trump announcing just moments ago that the United States and the European Union reached a framework for a trade deal after his talks with European Commission President Ursula von der Leyen at his Turnberry Golf Club in Scotland. Let's listen in on that.
And we will listen to parts of that, but you hear the music, and I'm sitting here going, is this news or is this like a movie show? What's going on at CNN? last week was a crazy week for CNN. I mean, you actually had me praising them on the air. I wondered what was going on with them. They came back down to the reality, but their production value, they're more worried about the production than they are actually reporting the news. Now, to CNN's credit, we do have to give them some credit. They actually cut or allowed the whole clip to play, which was really cool. Because there were some other people who didn't allow Trump to actually go and say what he needed to say. They cut off Tulsi Gabbard, and it just wasn't a good deal. Wasn't a good deal. With what the EU is going through, it is absolutely it's absolutely turning them into something that they didn't think they would ever be. You think about people who were complaining about the tariffs, who were thinking about how the tariffs wouldn't work. They're working. They're working great. They're working so good that the news media doesn't even want to talk about it that much, because when they do, they're having to eat their own words, and they can't say anything nice. They can't say anything good at all. This is MSNBC, and we don't expect much out of MSNBC, but to listen to these people, it is absolutely frightening. Cut forward.
And overall, if we even back up and look at the big picture here, President Trump was under pressure to make trade deals. He said he had already reached something like 100, 200 trade deals, but we only saw about a handful of them. So this at least adds one more trade deal as that August 1st deadline continues to loom, with the president saying that's the deadline to reach trade deals across the board.
And this is the rot gut that absolutely corrupts and perverts the political left. Many of you who are listening to this show right now are businessmen. And businessmen, you might have 3 accounts. You might have 150 accounts, but follow me on this. If you have 150 accounts, but 6 of those accounts make up 88% of your business, are you going to devote all that time to those lower accounts? Are you going to focus on the few big ones to make sure you've got those all locked up? And I know it's difficult for some people out there to walk, chew bubblegum, and pat their tummy while they're walking. But that's what you got to do. And it is evident, it is clear that MSNBC cannot do that. It is absolutely embarrassing to them, and it's why their ratings are in the tank. And people are like, Andy, you really focus on me? Of course I do, because that's what's shaping so many communities out there. Even though their ratings are down, even though they're not able to have the influence they once had, they still have their talking pieces out there, and they need to be corrected at every opportunity that is available. MSNBC is like one of the worst. And every chance we get to body slam them here on the Andrew Gosser Show on WYAB 103.9.com or 103.9 and WYAB.com, we're going to point it out, like this gun.
Well, Alex, I think we got a really good example of President Trump very blatantly and clearly misleading the American people and all viewers.
Gaslight alert, gaslight alert.
In front of our eyes. For the president to say about an hour ago that there was a 50% chance of a deal with the EU and 3 or 4 big issues remain, who knows, could go this way, could go that way. And for an hour later, for the president and his EU commission counterpart to be sitting there announcing a trade deal. The deal was signed before President Trump went out the first time. This is.
That wasn't me. That was the info babe. This guy knows everything that's going on. He knows the deal was signed. He's got it all doped out. He's got it all figured out, ladies and gentlemen. No reason to go watch the video yourself. No reason to go do all that yourself. Just listen to the mainstream media. They'll tell you what to do. It's like they're right out of Demolition Man with Sylvester Stallone and Wesley Snipes and Miss Sandra Bullock. Did I say her name right? Probably not, but it's all right. They are expecting you, the public, to not be able to make decisions for yourself. And they're sitting here making these wild and ostentatious claims like they know what was signed. I have been in deals where, you know what? I was 90% sure the deal was going to get done. We had to have one more meeting, and guess what? It didn't happen. Some of you have heard the story before, but I've watched multi-million-dollar deals that were agreed to completely and get completely disrupted by a text that wasn't even offensive, but it was taken the wrong way, and there it all went. All the private investing was gone. The federal or the government money was there, but because someone got an attitude, and it wasn't an attitude, it was just written the wrong way. And many of us know that we're very text aware when we send a text. But MSNBC, man, they are just on the rampage, and it's important that we go out there and listen to all this. And this was part of my show prep, was making sure that we had all these clips ready to go. So here's the last clip from MSNBC.
Bring in Courtney. Courtney, is this a good deal for Americans?
The Trump administration has pulled off what we called in a story earlier this week, this kind of incredible tariff psychological trick.
Psychological trick. Have the tariffs been a psychological trick? Because all I know is it's brought in trillions of dollars of new investment into the United States. It's actually working. The tariffs are working. This is not a trick. The only trick is the gaslighting that's happening from the mainstream media and the cable news media. That's the real trick. That's the real gaslighting that's going on. I want to finish up what she has to say here.
15% tariffs are acceptable now.
You know what? We were getting royally worked over by the EU, by Japan, by China. Yes, our tariffs were low, but we couldn't even access those markets. And if you got to put a 15% tariff to get in, and they're putting a 15% tariff on yours, well, then prices are going to go up. That's just the cost of doing business. It's like the Democrats don't know how tariffs work. They don't understand how inflation works. It's like the morons over at the Democrat Party that tweeted that chart where it says Trump's inflation's going up, and they didn't realize it, but during Biden, it was absolutely skyrocketing. And that's why we're still feeling all the pain that we are today. Yes, during President Biden, wages went up. Yes, during President Biden, jobs appeared to be going better. But it didn't take into account inflation. And that inflation completely nullified any good that he was doing. It didn't help any of the small businesses. All it did was do a transfer of wealth. And to look no further, everything that's been incorporated into the state government in a blue state, you have seen absolute economic turmoil and collapse. I've got 3 examples: New York, Illinois, and California. They're all trash. They have the largest migration of citizens out of those states and coming into red states. And here's the great thing about that. There was a study that I was reading on this weekend for the show prep. Do you know that the majority of people leaving those blue states are people who consider themselves conservative? They're moving to Texas. They're moving to South Carolina. They're moving to Florida. They're all gaining seats. Mississippi, we're pretty much maintaining flat line, which is something that is unique to Mississippi, and I totally encourage it and support it. I love the fact that our migration inflow is not as high as some of these other states. If they're conservative and are refugees, I'm all excited about that. I don't want the blue-haired, septum-piercing wackos coming into the state. I watched what it did to Illinois. Not good. Not good. When we come back, we've got to listen to what Miss Ursula, the Chancellor of the EU, said about Trump and this trade deal, because the left wants you to think it was a bad deal. It was a great deal for America. And then, quite frankly, it was a great deal for the EU too. But don't believe me. We'll listen to what Miss Ursula had to say. You're listening to the Andrew Gosser Show on 103.9 WYAB. We will be right back.
AB.
Hi, it's Jackson author Jeff Pettigo, and I've written a satirical novel you should read called City Zoo, an unfairy story.
President Donald Trump announced
the European market is open. It will bring stability.
Deal today instead of playing games and maybe not making a deal at all. I think
go crazy trying to take him out. Sounds familiar. It's the perfect pop culture satire for the beach. Learn more about the novels.
Just teeing up the next clip for the next segment. Hope everybody had a great weekend. Grateful and thankful, y'all. If you wouldn't mind liking the stream and retweeting it out, that would be awesome.
Feet of pristine, clean floor space. Home to beautiful, timeless antique treasures. Antique Mall of the South is open Monday to Saturday, 10 to 5. Check them out online at antiquemallofthesouth.com or go to the Antique Mall of the South Facebook page. You can also read the dozens of 5-star reviews online. Come see for yourself at Antique Mall of the South in Ridgeland. Now open Monday to Saturday, 10 to 5. That's Antique Mall of the South, Highway 51 in Ridgeland.
An American home just doesn't seem complete without that flag hanging from the pole on the porch. And where do you get that flag? In Jackson, it's at a complete flag source. I-55 North. You'll find U.S. and Mississippi flags in all sizes. And yes, that new Mississippi flag is available along with international flags and all state and territorial flags. They can build your flagpole and repair that ragged old flag. It's at CompleteFlags.com. That's CompleteFlags.com.
Your roof is constantly exposed to the elements, battling dirt, algae, and stains. But with Watkins Construction and Roofing Roof Wash Service, you can keep it looking like new. A proprietary rooficide treatment is EPA approved, safe, and guaranteed to prevent algae from coming back for at least 2 years. No harsh chemicals, no damage, no black streaks. Just a clean, beautiful roof that lasts. Call Watkins Construction and Roofing at 601-966-8233 or visit nomoreroofstains.com today.
So when are you going to check that thing off your to-do list?
Right, that. I don't know. How about next week?
How about now?
Or I could do it later, right?
No more putting it off. Do it now so you don't forget. You want this and have for a while.
You're right. I want this.
You deserve this. And it can help you in the long run. There. I just logged on to homescc.edu. We're getting you registered right now.
Wait. Hold up. I thought you had to show up on site to register at Homes.
You can do either one. You know that career you talk about all the time? The life you dream about? It starts today. How does that famous quote go?
Please don't.
The secret to getting ahead is
getting started.
Fall classes start August 18th, and we don't do Fridays at home. Register at 3:30 or right now at homecc.edu.
Homes. He's so frustrated. I could just body slam it.
Whoa there, leave the body slamming to the pros and leave superior high-quality office tech to the experts at Advantage Business Systems, brother.
Woo! Get it!
Never body slam your copy machine again. Visit absms.com. Advantage Business Systems, laying the smackdown on bad tech.
School's out, and McDee's in Ridgeland is the perfect place for family fun this summer. Enjoy our famous $12 Blue Plate specials every Monday through Friday, and now kids eat for just $5. That's right, just $5. Bring out the whole crew and enjoy our huge patio with lots of TVs, plenty of fans, and a safe space where kids can play while you kick back and relax. Family friendly, budget friendly, and always a good time. McBee's Bar and Grill, buzzing the res since 1982. Check out McBee's Bar and Grill on Facebook for today's special.
Yes, we are back on the Andrew Gosser Show on 103.9 WYAB, streaming on Rumble, streaming on X, streaming on YouTube, streaming on that social media platform that begins with an F, but we don't like talking about it. And we're streaming at the mothership, WYAB.com. Appreciate everybody tuning in, whether you're listening over the radio waves or you're listening over the internets. That's awesome. We were talking about the EU deal, and I'm not going to play President Trump's speech. It's kind of long. And it's typical Trump. It's good stuff. But we kind of understand where President Trump is coming from. I want to get the perspective of Miss Ursula, the leader of the EU. And here she is. They're just clapping Trump right there.
Yeah, thank you. We have a deal. We have a trade deal between the two largest economies in the world. And it's a big deal. It's a huge deal. It will bring stability. It will bring predictability. That's very important for our businesses on both sides of the Atlantic. It's 15% tariffs across the board, all inclusive. The investments Mr. President just described that going to go to the United States and the purchases over there. Indeed, basically the European market is open. It's 450 million people. So it's a good deal. It's a huge deal.
Yeah.
Was tough negotiations. I knew it at the beginning, and it was indeed very tough, but we came to good conclusions for both sides. So again, congratulations and many thanks.
And there you go. The leader of the EU is happy with the deal. Look at how many times she actually said the word deal. It's almost like people are using Trump's language because they want to get that affirmation. They want to make sure that they're on the same side. You know, they want that quote unquote good deal. And to all the crazy leftists that are out there saying, oh, he's only got 5 or 6 done. He's only got 10 done. Well, they're the big ones. And you're going to see a lot of these smaller countries fall right into line. And there's been some speculation out there, too, that's saying that, you know, they're signing these deals now, but they're secretly trying to find other ways to replace the economic flow to and from America with these trade deals. That's great. When you decide that you want to renegotiate the deal, just be careful. You might not get the same deal that you had. And that's a big thing that happens with these people who are playing with President Trump. They don't realize that they're actually getting really good deals. They think that they're not, or that they think that they're not getting the best deal available. And is it going to be everything that everybody wants? No, but isn't that what negotiation is? Whether you're negotiating at a business or you're negotiating with your spouse, usually you come to some type of deal. Sweet B, I really want to watch this movie. I remember it had some things in it that I can't quite remember, but I want to use in the show. Okay, but we got to watch another Chosen. Hey, that works for me. I'll sign me up on that deal. We both have read The Art of the Deal, by the way. Between that and What's Your Love Language, you get those 2 books, you're off and running in the right direction. Just a little bit more on the EU deal. Apparently, France and Germany are not totally happy with this. They want to explore other avenues. You know, that's their right. I guess they could leave the EU and go try to cut their own deal. I don't think that would be great for them. You know, Germany's always had an independent streak, a very nationalist streak in them. France is incredibly nationalistic, but they haven't fared too well when it comes to actual economic warfare or conventional warfare. They've had to be bailed out a few times. I don't think that's going to work out great for them. That's not going to work out great for them at all. Fox News had some glowing coverage of this. I don't want to get in. Not that I don't agree with what Fox News is saying, but the bottom line is that this trade deal is going to bring in over $1.4 trillion of European investment into the United States. That's a great thing. The one thing that I would caution on is we don't want that 1 point whatever trillion it's going to be. I think it's 1.4. It could grow because there's a military add-on to that. And depending on how many new airplanes Europe wants to buy, depending on how many new Patriot batteries Europe wants to buy, depending on how many boats they want to buy, missiles they want to buy, that number could go up drastically. But the one thing that does concern me about this EU investment, and it should bother all of you too, all of these woke CEOs that turned America on its head for the last 4 years, many of them come from Europe. Many of these European companies came in and bought out American companies and then just trashed them. Harley is still trashed. They still have that woke CEO. They're still trying to build plants outside of the United States and not have to pay the economic tariff that's coming in. And I'm just letting you know, I am not sure President Trump knows that what Harley is trying to do, because if I did, I haven't seen him speak on Harley Davidson. If someone has, please let me know. That would be awesome. But if all this economic investment is going to come in and start buying out our companies, that is not the type of investment that we want. That's not the winning way. Coming in and buying our stuff, hey, we're all about that. Oh, the other big deal, a big deal with energy going to the EU. You know, the whole thing that kicked this off was when that pipeline from Russia to Germany, I believe it was, got blown up. And you can say it was the Russians. You can say it was the Ukrainians. You can say it was the CIA. I don't know who did it. All I know is that it's done. You know, that completely put a stranglehold on EU energy, which is why they pushed for the green energy so hard. And now they're so energy deficient that they're like going back to hydrocarbons with a quickness. And they're going to get a lot of them from the United States. That's a great deal. Those are the kinds of things that are in this deal. I'm sure that there'll be bigger breakdowns coming out as we learn more and more about the deal between the United States and the EU. And it's just another place where Trump is winning. And we haven't even talked about the fear mongering and the scare tactics, the uncertainty, the doubt that has been put into this American public by the Democrats and the mainstream media over tariffs. We haven't even really scratched the surface on that. Maybe we'll talk about that in the next segment. You're listening to the Andrew Gosser Show on 103.9 WYAB. We will be right back. We will be right back.
Keep it tuned here to 103.9 WYAB.
Fox News commentary.
Democrats' best plan to win over voters of tomorrow was a virtual message from failed candidate Kamala. I'm Tommy Lahren. More next.
Sponsored by AxeCap Ventures. America, listen up. Gold prices are breaking records. With inflation raging and central banks hoarding, every American should own gold. And like President Trump said, whoever holds the gold makes the rules. AxeCap Ventures owns one of Nevada's largest undeveloped gold deposits and trades for pennies on the dollar. This could be your way to ride the gold boom. AxeCap trades under GARLF on the OTC. Visit axecapventures.ca today.
Spoiler alert, Democrats still don't know why they lost in 2024 and why their approval rating keeps finding new lows. But they did hold a lackluster event in D.C. over the weekend called the Voters of Tomorrow Summit. The goal was to activate young voters and get Gen Z back in the pocket of the Democrat Party. Featured speakers included Nancy Pelosi, Rep. Ro Khanna, and even a virtual 2-minute pre-recorded message from none other than the big loser herself, Kamala Harris. Now, you'd think, given it was pre-taped and virtual, lasting only a couple minutes, she couldn't have screwed it up that that badly, but you'd be wrong. True to her signature style, the message was a rambling, idealistic word salad of shallow and uninspiring nothingness. And the worst of all for Democrats, Kamala vowed to stay in the fight. Does that mean she's running again? Best of luck.
This Nissan was taken to a shop preferred by the insurance company. This repair took several weeks and cost over $20,000. This car came to Clinton Body Shop for a post-repair inspection. We found dangerous, substandard repairs and parts that were paid for but not installed. The insurance company bought this car from the owner. Have you used an insurance preferred body shop? If you have, call either Clinton Body Shop for a post-repair inspection. In Clinton and in Richland, we work for you. We take pride in perfection.
Green's Tire and Auto on Ridgewood Road in Ridgeland can do it all. Is your check engine light on? Take it to Green's. Air not blowing cold anymore? Take it to Green's. Squeaky brakes, bald tires, misaligned front end? Take it to Green's. Green's Tire and Auto can do it all. Your car can operate just like new again when you take it to Green's. Green's Tire and Auto, Ridgewood Road in Ridgeland. Take it to Green's. 601-957-0201.
At Shelter Insurance, we believe insurance should adjust to fit your needs. That's why we work with you to design an auto, home, and life insurance plan that's particular to you. Insurance that fits just right. And Shelter is known for our award-winning customer service, satisfied customers, and a plan for you. Ready to check us out? Shelter Insurance. We're your shield. We're your shelter.
Whether you're at home, in your car, or on the field, let Shelter be your shield. Come see me, Jamie Creel.
Looking for the perfect spot to unwind with friends and family? El Patrio Mexican Restaurant is calling your name. With locations in Flowood and Cross Gates, Brandon, El Patrio is the cozy, family-owned gym where great food meets great times. Enjoy El Patrio's signature margaritas and happy hour specials that keep their customers coming back for more. Indulge in their authentic Mexican dishes prepared with love and served in a warm, family-friendly atmosphere. Come to El Patrio and taste the traditions. El Patrio, where family, flavor, and fun come together.
Americans for Prosperity is Mississippi's and the country's leading grassroots organization dedicated to promoting economic freedom and personal liberty. Americans for Prosperity advocates for limited government, free market policies, and empowering individuals. When given freedom and opportunity, Americans are capable of extraordinary things. If you are ready to make a difference in our community and want to get involved, then visit americansforprosperity.org. Be a part of positive change at americansforprosperity.org. Paid for by Americans for Prosperity.
And we are back on the Andrew Gosser Show at 103.9 WYAB. So grateful and thank you. Look, Wednesday is going to be a great day. I'm going to have a guest on. He's been on the show before. In fact, he was the show's first guest, Mr. Blake Bartlam of Flowood. I think he's from Flowood. He's got to go back to high school, and I can't get him on. I wanted to have a little bit more of a break, but I can't take him out of his studies. So we're going to have him on in the second hour on Wednesday from 11 to 12. So make sure you tune into that. That's going to be a great show. And it's always great when we bring in these younger patriots, these younger citizens who are involved in their community. They're actively involved in the body politic, and they can hold their own. It's going to be a great show. So I want to make sure that everybody knows about that. Look, there's a scandal brewing right now. And it's a pretty big one. I'm not a big fan of the NFL ever since about 2009 when they completely changed the hitting rules. And I understand we got to protect players. I'm for that. But a lot of it was just vicious hits. Well, that's what we watched NFL for. Arguably one of the greatest segments ever coming out of ESPN radio was the segment Jacked Up. And if you know, you know. It was a great, great show. Man, we used to love watching that. But at least 100 NFL players face penalty over Super Bowl 59 ticket scandal. ESPN is the source. And then there's the Associated Propaganda, the AP. NFL finding more than 100 players for selling Super Bowl tickets above face value. And I originally got this story from Black and White Sports on YouTube. They're definitely worth a follow. Great source of sports information that isn't woke, that isn't DEI. And that's what we are all about. So shout out to Black and White Sports for this. Apparently, players get an allocation of 2 tickets at face value, and they go anywhere from $950 up to $7,500, so that they and their spouse or they and a friend can go watch the Super Bowl. Well, what they were doing is they were just making an investment. They were just doing what any red-blooded American would do: buy low, sell high. We appreciate good economic practices. But there's a problem that the NFL says that you can't do that it's a violation of their rules. And I get that too. I don't think it's a bad rule to have. It's a private organization. They can make the rules whatever they want. But they're facing fines and suspensions. Can you imagine some of these players who are big time players getting fined because they broke the rules? It's a part of our culture. We document it here on the Andrew Gosser Show. That all of our sports leagues are going into the tank. We can agree with that. The wokeism has destroyed it. But now the ones that were trying to make a buck off of their benefit, I wonder if they actually knew that they weren't supposed to do this. I'm not sure, but that was something that came up with me. Another story that I thought was really big was the Detroit stabbing. What was interesting to me when I was reading all the reports coming out to this originally was they were talking about the one Marine who actually tried to go on the offensive with a shopping cart. CNN, in their first 2 stories that they reported on this, didn't even mention the shooter's name. And we love the Second Amendment here at the Andrew Gosser Show. We practice it a lot. It's nice having a farm where you can go out and just shoot some rounds down range and not have to worry about ricochets because we've got a berm and it's legit. We live out where you can fire a firearm and not have to worry about your neighbors going full Karen on you. But if not, you can always go to Two Gun Tactical and go shooting. Kim Wade has a show, or Kim Wade has a sponsor on Wednesday where you can go there and get a free target. Just mention Kim Wade. Mention WYAB. We would appreciate that because we love our sponsors here at WYAB.com. We're grateful and thankful for that. The one thing that I want to talk about with this Detroit shooting, it's one point, but it's got 2 sub points to it. The point is that if you look at some of the still shots from the gentleman who pulled the weapon, he is going full ghetto grip. He doesn't have the gun up and down and pointed in the right direction. He's got the side shot. And this proves a point that even if you have been trained by the best, and the United States Marine Corps knows how to train people. Every Marine's a rifleman. But even though he was trained, his grip wasn't great. And homie, we need to get you back in the range to get you shooting the right way. You know, muzzle awareness was great. I thought your trigger discipline, couldn't really tell from the angle that I got, but I'm going to assume that was good because there were no inadvertent shots taken. Good on the other Marine gang tackling that dude. And honestly, you're going to see a lot more knife crime as more of these people immigrate from Europe and these other countries where a knife is easier to conceal than a weapon or than a firearm. You know, it's going to happen. That guy stabbed 11 dudes, 11 people. I don't know if they were all dudes, but 11 people. And it just goes to show you how quickly you can get stabbed. So just because you're carrying doesn't mean that you're going to be protected. And for those of us who've done the training, person coming at you with a knife is a sick, scary, scary thing. You've got to react quickly. You've got to make some life and death decisions. And don't listen to the Karen down the street who says, oh, just shoot him in the leg. That's not how that works. It's not how that works at all. Once you commit to something like that, it's scary. So hopefully you've got a good 2A attorney on hand, and we want to practice judicious use of the Second Amendment. But this just goes to show you how wonderful the Second Amendment works. You don't even have to squeeze the trigger. You don't even necessarily have to do anything other than brandish it to de-escalate the situation. Not always, but most of the time. There's a great book out there by John Lott called More Guns, Less Crime. It is a must read if you are a 2A advocate. Must read. It talks about all the FBI crime statistics that show how people who conceal carry almost never have to use their weapon, but when they do, and I know all of the NRA people are, Andy, it's not a weapon, it's a firearm. Sorry, 21 years in the military, it is what it is. Most people who pull a firearm out in a situation never end up discharging it. Overwhelming majority. And I'll never forget the story that was in that book, and I'm going to relay it here. But Domino's pizza driver, Domino said, no, don't carry any firearms. Well, homie was carrying a firearm anyway. There were a lot of problems on his route where in his delivery area. And he was about to get mugged, and he simply reached for his firearm. And as soon as the thug realized what was going on, guess what? That situation was completely de-escalated. And he got to deliver his pizza. He ended up getting his tip, and he went along his merry way. Now, this was reported in the book. But think about this, ladies and gentlemen. How many times is a firearm brandished and never used and actually reported to the FBI Crime Statistics Lab? I'm going to venture to say that for every time that it's actually reported to the FBI, there are probably 1,000 times that it's not. I could tell you when I lived in Illinois, there was a situation where I was walking into the grocery store. We don't have Kroger's up there. We've got the Jewel in Crystal Lake. And these three people came at me, and I just put my hand on my hip, didn't pull anything out. But as soon as they saw that, they just walked the other way. A lot of it is having the situational awareness and know where you're walking and what you're getting yourself into. You've got to have that situational awareness. And you also have to have the training for a much better outcome. Good on that guy in Michigan for concealed carrying and stopping that stabbing attack. And he has been charged with terrorism, by the way. He doesn't fit the normal quote unquote racial background for people who are normally charged with terrorism. He's a white dude. So good for them charging him with terrorism. But, you know, that knife could have done a lot of damage. One person's already been released from the hospital, and the other 10 are all expected to have full recoveries, which is a great thing. We're going to take our last break of the first hour on the Andrew Gosser Show. We're going to try to hit a couple of these smaller stories. You're listening to the Andrew Gosser Show on 103.9. We will be right back.
Back. 103.9 WYAB.
If you're a parent or grandparent, you should know that even though Mississippi is ranked as the unhealthiest state in the country, we have the highest vaccination rate for our children and grandchildren. Many of us blindly trust the medical establishment, and now it's time to question vaccine safety. Mississippi Parents for Vaccine Rights is a grassroots organization working to educate the public and lawmakers about this important topic. Be informed. Go to mpvr.org. Like us on Facebook to stay up to date on the latest information. That's Mississippi Parents for Vaccine Rights, mpvr.org.
If you want the best health care, where do you go? The Mayo Clinic. If you want the best care for your vehicle, where do you go? Mayo Auto Clinic in Raymond. Mayo Auto Clinic does foreign and domestic vehicles and diesel repair. Mayo Auto Clinic has ASE certified techs with over 25 years of experience. You can extend the life of your car or truck when you take it to Mayo Auto Clinic. For cost-effective repairs and maintenance, go to the best, Mayo Auto Clinic. Open weekdays at 7 a.m. Highway 18 in Raymond.
Would you like the convenience of a sunglass clip that fits your eyeglass frame? Hi, it's Bruce from Eye Gear Optical, and I've heard you asking, so I stocked up on them. Come choose from our selection of Revolution eyewear frames with magnetic sun clips at fantastic prices. For about the same price as a regular eyeglass frame, you can have the best of both worlds while they last. Come see me and I'll customize a pair just for you at Eye Gear Optical, 2630 Highway 80 East in Pearl, and on the web at eyegearoptical.com.
Hi, Kim Wade here. Cork and Door Company has been providing quality residential garage and commercial overhead door products to Mississippians for over 50 years. Cork and Door is a supplier of garage door parts and services such as LiftMaster, commercial and residential door operators, as well as Clopay, sectional commercial and residential doors, Asta, commercial sheet and rolling steel doors, and Cornell, rolling steel and shutters, with many in stock for the same-day pickup. CorkandDoor.com. That's CorkandDoor.com.
Smart business owners will tell you the best time to start a new business is now. Whether you're thinking of starting a new business or expanding an existing one, the perfect location is the Cotton Exchange Plaza in Flora. Over 13,000 cars will pass by your business each and every day on Highway 49. Space is available now, so what are you waiting for? Call the Cotton Exchange Plaza at 601-879-3503 to find out how you can expand your business today. The Cotton Exchange Plaza in Flora, where we mean business.
Peace, love, and pizza. It's Collie Days at Johnny's Pizza House. Load up the crew and hit the road with nothing but good vibes and better pizza. It's all about that crunchy new cauliflower crust. 10 inches of baked bliss. Light, crispy, and full of flavor. It's the ultimate slice for summer chillin'. Best enjoyed with sunshine and good company. Nothing but love served one slice at a time. But don't wait. This trip's for a limited time only. Peace, love, and pizza. Happy Collie Days from Johnny's Pizza House.
Hi, it's Jackson author Jeff Pettigo, and I've written a satirical novel you should read called City Zoo, an Unfairy Story, a witty Orwellian animal fable about the lying fake news media. What happens is a former circus elephant runs for animal zookeeper, and all the monkeys in the zoo's fairy tale news media go crazy trying to take him out. Sounds familiar. It's the perfect pop culture satire for the beach. Learn more about the novel City Zoo at cityzoo.us. cityzoo.us.
Looking for the ultimate reset for your body and skin? At Core Wellness and Recovery, you'll find next-level services like cryotherapy, red light therapy, infrared sauna, body sculpting, and advanced facials. Whether you want to boost performance, recover faster, or just feel your best, Core Wellness and Recovery delivers real results with zero downtime. From muscle relief to radiant skin, this is self-care redefined. Come experience the future of wellness, Core Wellness and Recovery, just off Highland Colony in Ridgeland. Book now at corewellnessandrecovery.com.
And we are back on the Andrew Gosser Show at 103.9 WYAB. Quick correction. I thought it was just Wednesdays, but Brother Kim has texted in and says that it's from, make sure I get it right here. It is from Tuesday through Friday, $15 for an hour. It's happy hour for Two Gun Tactical. $15 for an hour for range time. Think about that. That's pretty slick. You're shooting in a range, controlled environment. You know, the Sweet Bee and I took our Valentine's date there. That's what we did for Valentine's Day. It was a lot of fun. And it's just a great deal. Kim, thank you so much for that. And he also says that you get a free target too. Can't beat that. Go mention Kim Wade. Mention Andrew Gosser too. That would be really slick if you did that. I'd appreciate it. Two Gun Tactical. Look, texters are texting in about how much time you have from when someone's coming at you with a knife to when you're actually going to decide you're going to draw and actually utilize your personal protection equipment. Some saying it's 3 seconds. Some saying it's 7 seconds. I'm saying I'm out of training when it comes to the actual time on that. I just know you don't have a lot of time. And the best thing to do in those situations is get yourself out of the danger area. That would be my best advice to anybody who is in that situation, if you can. I mean, if you got to do what this guy did, then you got to do what that guy did. But hopefully you have a better grip on your firearm of choice. Thank you. Yeah, the NRA instructors like, it's a firearm. Sorry. I'm sorry. In the next hour, what we're going to talk about is the Democrats having the lowest approval rating since they've been recording. And this is coming from the Wall Street Journal. And we're also going to talk about Elon and how has it worked out for him since he first accused President Trump of being in the Epstein files. Some people are going to say it's completely destroyed him, and you're not going to argue that. Some people are going to say that he got his point across, that he wanted more visibility brought to the Epstein files, and can't argue with that either. But there is a third option, which is not being talked about, which I think is going to be really important. And then we're going to also talk in the next hour about a Mississippi billionaire who did an interview with Mississippi Today, big Republican, Tommy Duff. Many people here in the Republican Party know him, and many like him. There's some of you who don't. But either way, we're going to talk about that, because anytime you got somebody who can come in and jump in the swimming pool and make a really big splash, probably going to want to know about that. And then the other story that I want to talk about is this brain drain narrative that continues to be pushed down the throats of Mississippians. We're actually doing great. And I'm almost certain that Mississippi Today does not realize how good Mississippi has it compared to some of these other blue states. I know they don't want to agree with it. We'll be back on the Andrew Gosser Show on 103.9 WYAB.
This is Central Mississippi's Stimulating Talk.
1039 WYAB. Pocahontas, Jackson.
This is CBS News on the Hour, presented by Indeed.com.
I'm Steve Kathan. A federal judge says Planned Parenthood must continue to be reimbursed for Medicaid funding as the Trump administration pushes to defund it. CBS's Christopher Cruz.
The judge in the case, Indira Talwani in Boston, granted Planned Parenthood a permanent injunction blocking the government from cutting Medicaid payments to Planned Parenthood clinics that don't provide abortion care. Today's order replaces a preliminary injunction she granted last week. Under the ruling, patients can continue to use Medicaid for non-abortion related services like birth control and cancer screenings at Planned Parenthood health centers, and those centers can continue to be reimbursed by Medicaid for the services provided.
In Scotland, President Trump said today he's cutting the 50-day deadline he gave Russia's Vladimir Putin to agree to a ceasefire in Ukraine.
I'd say 10 to 12 days. I'll announce it probably tonight or tomorrow. But there's no reason to wait. If you know what the answer is going to be, why wait?
And the president called on Israel's Prime Minister Netanyahu to get food into Gaza. CBS's Elizabeth Palmer says Israel has agreed to limit some military action.
The shift came after images of hungry Gazans and malnourished children shocked the world and prompted an international outcry. Israel's Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu denied that there was starvation in Gaza. President Trump was asked about those comments, and here's what he said.
Based on television, I would say not particularly, because those children look very hungry.
Today, more aid trucks are on the move as international agencies gear up to feed the hungry and, by now, the desperate.
Well, President Trump has hailed a new trade deal with the European Union. CBS's Kelly O'Grady says attention now shifts to a new round of trade talks between the U.S. and China.
I'm really interested to see if China is able to commit, like the EU and Japan, investment into the U.S. That has sort of been a hallmark of these deals that the U.S. has done with these different countries. And that is something where there isn't as much leverage that the U.S. has with China.
American Airlines says a flight that had trouble in Denver had tires blow out during the takeoff roll. Passengers got off the plane on emergency slides. It's another week of dangerous heat in some spots. 182 million people are under heat alerts. Meteorologist Craig Allen.
We are talking about nearly 200 million people under some type of heat alert right through today, Tuesday, and Wednesday. And in fact, this heat could last through the entire week down across the southeast states.
And checking Wall Street, right now the Dow is up 27 points. The S&P is up 5. This is CBS News.
Sponsored by Progressive Insurance. We offer auto, home, and commercial auto insurance, plus a variety of business insurance options. Visit progressive.com today.
If you have unfiled taxes or are in debt to the IRS, this is important news. Did you know the IRS has programs specifically designed to help people struggling with tax debt? Powerful tax assistance programs that can save you thousands if you qualify. No one knows these programs better than the experts at Optima Tax Relief, America's most trusted tax resolution firm. A-plus rated by the Better Business Bureau, their award-winning tax attorneys and licensed professionals have resolved over $1 billion of tax debt for their clients. One call to Optima can start the process, helping to put an end to your worries about wage garnishment, asset seizure, and other aggressive IRS actions. Find the best options to solve your tax problems. Call the experts at Optima Tax Relief today for a free consultation.
Call 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460. 800-343-64.
Local news and weather brought to you by Mississippi Energy Services. We're your fast, affordable, and friendly generator service company. msenergy.us. msenergy.us.
Highs near 100 degrees today. In the Delta Radio newsroom, I'm Chris Davis. An extreme heat warning is in effect for this area and a lot of Mississippi, with high pressure and little chance for rain.
And that's going to lead to our hottest temperatures possibly of the year. We could see a little bit more of a chance of triple digits across more areas.
From the National Weather Service, the heat index may be over 111 this afternoon. The forecast is for a high at 98 with little to no chance for rain today. Clear and 77 tonight and 98 again Tuesday, this time with a 30% chance for afternoon storms. A better rain chance Wednesday. You've got news on 103.9 WYAB. I'm Chris Davis. 3 people shot on Wiggins Road in Jackson early Saturday morning, not long after midnight. Police are asking for help in finding out who did it. JPD says all 3 people are already out of the hospital. In Yazoo City, the East-West Side gang feud may be to blame for a shooting that happened early Saturday morning about 1:30 on Leach Street. Police Chief Terry Gann says 4 people were shot and all are in the hospital. They have suspects but have not announced an arrest. Neshoba County Fair, political speaking, is scheduled for Wednesday and Thursday, and some people speaking are running or may run for office, not this year, but soon. Ag Commissioner Andy Gibson announced his run for governor already. His speech is Wednesday morning at 10:20, and he's followed by Lieutenant Governor Delbert Hosemann. Attorney General Lynn Fitch speaks Thursday at 10:10, and House Speaker Jason White is 10:20 Thursday. He is followed by Governor Reeves. More news in 1 hour on 103.9 WYAB. I'm Chris Davis.
The views and opinions expressed in this
And we are locked, loaded, and ready for launch here on the Andrew Gosser Show on 103.9 WYAB, top of the second hour. It's 11 a.m. here in Jackson. Great to have you all with us. Look, we're streaming on Rumble. We're streaming on X. We're streaming on YouTube. And we're streaming on that social media platform that begins with a F, but we don't like to say the name, fam. And we also are streaming at the mothership, WYAB.com. So no matter where you're listening to us, we sure do appreciate it. Look, if you want to be a part of the program today, the number is 601-879-0002. Texts are coming in. That number is 601-879-5060. And we appreciate all that input that we get because it helps build the show and makes it go. And we are here today to equip the saints. And that's what we're going to do. And this is a special segment for Here's the Deal, John. Democrats get lowest rating from voters in 35 years. It is a great day to be a Democrat because you got nowhere to go but up. We often say here on this program that Democrats don't provide solutions. They provide sound bites. And the chickens are coming home to roost. And we all are seeing it with our own eyes. Well, we've been seeing this for a while, especially here in Mississippi. They've got their specially drawn out districts, but there's no real leadership coming down from the Democrat Party. It's like, what do you stand for? What do you believe in? The truth of the matter is Democrats are getting crushed just as hard as Republicans are when it comes to this illegal immigration issue, but they don't take a stand for it. The Democrats had the Epstein files from 2020 to 2024 and never released a single thing, but all of a sudden now they're supposed to be the patron saints or the ones who are going to be out there doing what they need to do. Now, all of a sudden, you've got Democrats on the Senate floor, the well of the Senate, saying, release the Epstein files. It's glorious out there. This is coming from the Wall Street Journal. The new survey finds that 63% of voters hold an unfavorable view of the Democrat Party. 63% unfavorable. That's the highest share in Journal polls dating back to 1990 and 30% points higher than the 33% who hold a favorable view. So what this is saying, because sometimes you don't have a view one way or the other. So you either absolutely loathe the Democrat Party or you absolutely hate them. And look, the truth of the matter is the system has made us so ideologically apart that we can't even work together anymore. It's like every bill that comes to the Senate floor, no matter whether it's a Democrat or a Republican, well, they're all Republican bills because they lead it, but it doesn't matter whether it's a Republican idea or a Democrat idea, it's going to get voted no, which is how we get the silly spending bills that we get, i.e. the big, beautiful bill, the triple B. Every once in a while, you will get 2 or 3 Republican senators who are masquerading as Republicans, but are closet Democrats voting with the Democrats. But we got JD there. And 2026 is going to be a big deal. It's going to be a huge deal. A mere 8% of voters view the Democrats very favorably, compared to 19% who showed the same level of enthusiasm for the Republicans. So basically, 1/5 of the nation out there views Republicanism in this current form, whether you agree with it or not. 20% view it very favorably, whereas only 1/10 of this nation view the Democrats very favorably. I would suggest that even those states or those places that view, or the nation that views Democrats very favorably, the majority of those votes are coming out of California, New York, and Illinois. We are seeing more and more states shift away from blue in turning purple or going from purple to red. Pennsylvania it was very purple right now, but it's actually going to, if it keeps on going like it's going, and there's an article out there with the Persistence, Scott Pressler, who does these voter registration and action drives. He has single-handedly changed Pennsylvania, and now he's working in New Jersey, and they're feeling it in New Jersey. There's panic. And does that mean that we agree with Scott Pressler on every issue? No. Do we agree with President Trump on every issue? No. Do we agree with our Governor Tate Reeves on every issue? No. But we work together, and that makes a stronger Republican Party. And where we disagree, don't make it personal. Just say, this is why I disagree with you, and move on. There's more from this article I want to share with you, because it's just so devastating for the Democrats. Listen to this. This lets me know that the Wall Street Journal is going into the toilet. The only issues which voters prefer congressional Democrats to Republicans among the 10 tested in the Journal survey are healthcare and vaccine policy. Healthcare, I could see, because the Democrats are the absolute masterminds. They truly are the best at scaring the hell out of people. Their fear, uncertainty, doubt game is unmatched. It is unrivaled. That's just the way it is. But what we're finding out is that every state that gives the opportunity to opt out of the vaccines, we get it. Thank goodness for Mississippi Parents for Vaccination Rights, Mary Jo and Miss Lindy, actually having the stones to go to court to get that overturned instead of going through the legislature. And I'm not beating up the legislature. I just wish the legislature would have done that so we didn't have to go to court. We shouldn't have to depend on two women from their own homes and forming their own organization to have to take the government to court to get something changed. It just shouldn't happen, which is why it's important that you get involved locally in all these organizations, not just the Republican Party, but MPBR or Conservative Coalition or whatever floats your boat out there. This is a quote from a Democrat pollster, John Anzalone. John Anzalone. If I'm mispronouncing your name, brother, I apologize. It's not personal. It's just name pronunciation is hot garbage. The Democrat brand is so bad that they don't have the credibility to be a critic of Trump or the Republican Party, said John Anzalone, a Democrat pollster. No one believes Democrats. And this is going to bode great for 2026 and 2028. There's already pollsters out there starting to take the position and start to do polls for 2028 and who's going to run and who's going to be favorable. And it's bad. I've never seen it like this since I've actively been following politics, which has been a while, about 20, 25 years. I know that there are people out there who know a lot more than me. But I'm telling you what, if there was ever a chance to make inroads into communities, whether that be the Black community, the urban community, now it is the time to do it with meaningful policies in education, economics, small business. This is just my opinion, but I'm not sure the Black community gets enough credit for their entrepreneurial spirit. You know, they don't get all the community, the urban community just doesn't have the same economic power base that the Asian community has, or the Indian community has, or the white community has. They just don't have it, but they're out there hustling. And there are a lot of great business leaders in the Black community, and I'm not necessarily sure that they get all the credit. We should welcome them into the Republican Party, help them build businesses inside and around Jackson, help everybody who wants to build a business. But I'm saying that because there's a real opportunity to grow the Republican base. Are we going to do it? I don't know. I think this is the last quote I got from this article. Well, I got two more. When asked how they would vote if the election were held today, more voters in the New Journal said they would back a Democrat for Congress over a Republican by 3 points, 46 to 43. So again, this is what's reported on MSNBC, CNN, ABC, CBS, all the usual left-wing trolls say, "Oh my goodness, even as bad as the Democrats are, they're still winning." But this is the important thing. That is significant advantage for the Democrats at this early stage. But at this point in 2017, the Democrats' lead was 8 percentage points. So they had an 8% lead same time during 2017. Now they only have 3. And it's only going to get worse for them. Many of us who follow the polling data realize that there's a baked-in Democrat bias of about 2.5% to 3% in everything. So this is statistical dead heat. And this doesn't even talk about the redistricting that's about to happen or what's going to happen in 2030 when they do the new census. And all of those blue states lose more congressional seats and they go to red states. I can assure you that those seats that are lost in California aren't going to be redrawn into blue districts in Texas or Florida or South Carolina or Georgia. Just not going to happen. And when you think about the math, they were talking about, I was watching this show talking about how it's going to shift the electoral college. You're talking about Trump, he had 316. You're talking about picking up another 15 seats. So from 316 to 331 and whatever Kamala was at, subtract 15 from that because it's actually a double. Because you take away from one, you add to the other. That's actually a 2-point swing. That's just how the math works. Last quote from this article, and you can read it. Someone has archived it, so you don't actually have to pay for it, which is kind of nice. 5 successive presidents have lost control of Congress, including former President Barack Obama, whose party lost 63 seats in the Tea Party tidal wave. I'll tell you what, if there's a chance, not for a Tea Party tidal wave, but a MAGA tidal wave. And if MAGA can learn the lessons learned from the Tea Party, oh my goodness gracious. You're going to have a lot of turnover. You're going to have a lot more conservative people come in, but you're also going to have a lot of wolves in sheep's clothing sneak in too. Let's never forget that the Republican congressman from Illinois, Adam Kinzinger, ran as a Tea Party conservative in 2011. I know I was helping him out. He spit a good game, but as soon as he got there, he turned brutal. I've never felt so backstabbed in my life. Remember, there was that big budget battle in the House, and I was actually just running around visiting all the Illinois congressmen because I was from Illinois, and I just happened to be there. I'm like, look, I'm going to go there and let them know. And they sat me down and tried to give me all the reasons why they had to vote. It was terrible. You could see the look on his face. He just looked like he had been put through the ringer. Like he just flew a check ride and he didn't make it. That was a precious memory right there too. Here's the deal, John. Y'all ain't looking good. It's not just Republicans saying it. It's a Wall Street Journal, which is no friend to President Trump because they're getting sued and they're about to pay out the nose too. You're listening to the Andrew Gosser Show on 103.9 WYAB. We will be right back. WYAB, we will be right back.
.1039 WYAB.
Hi, this is Lee Atkins of Home Care Plus in Ridgeland. We are a proud carrier of Abena Premium Incontinence products. Abena has the most absorbency available, making changes and leaks less likely. After 7 years as a seller, I can tell you these products are amazing and worth every penny to quality of life for patient and caregiver. And we ship all incontinence products as well. So please come see us at Home Care Plus in Ridgeland for all the incontinence needs of you or your family member. That's Home Care Plus in Ridgeland.
Hi, it's Jackson author Jeff Pedigo, and I've written a satirical novel you should read called City Zoo, an Unfairy Story, a witty Orwellian animal fable about the lying fake news media. What happens is a former circus elephant runs for animal zookeeper, and all the monkeys in the zoo's fairy tale news media go crazy trying to take him out. Sounds familiar. It's the perfect pop culture satire for the beach. Learn more about the novel City Zoo at cityzoo.us. cityzoo.us.
An American home just doesn't seem complete without that flag hanging from the pole on the porch. And where do you get that flag? In Jackson, it's at a complete flag source. I-55 North. You'll find U.S. and Mississippi flags in all sizes. And yes, that new Mississippi flag is available along with international flags and all state and territorial flags. They can build your flagpole and repair that ragged old flag. It's at CompleteFlags.com. That's CompleteFlags.com.
Have you noticed all these people acting like the sky is falling? All this tariff talk has folks real nervous, but at Eye Care Optical, we've got you covered. Our prices remain solid on all our quality products, while all other shops are raising prices. We are not. Come get a great pair of eyeglasses, computer glasses, or sunglasses that fit you, your lifestyle, and your budget every day at Eye Care Optical, 2630 Highway 80 East in Pearl, and on the web at eyecareoptical.com.
With a single handshake, John Ravenstein buys millions in diamonds, and that's the buying power it takes to be Mississippi's direct diamond importer.
You see, we sell so many diamonds, the finest diamond cutters from around the world come to us.
He's got the $1 million handshake.
I'm John.
And I'm Rachel Ravenstein. That's why here at Juniker Jewelry, you'll shop from 10 times the loose diamonds you'll find in average jewelry stores.
Because finding just the right diamond at the right price, the perfect diamond for her, is what Juniker Jewelry is all about.
Best of all, we guarantee the lowest price in the state. We even have 12 months interest-free financing for qualified buyers.
So when you're ready, we're ready at Mississippi's direct diamond importer. And I want to shake your hand
and make her the happiest girl in the world.
Juniker Jewelry Company, Mississippi's direct diamond importer. From anywhere in Mississippi, we're at 1485 Highland Colony Parkway, just south of 463 in Madison, and JunikerJewelry.com.
Are you looking for a church family to connect with? One that will provide opportunities to grow in your spiritual life, as well as a chance to serve others? First Baptist Flora may be just the place for you. We're located at 102 Jackson Street in Flora. To worship with us in person, we have a traditional worship service that begins Sunday mornings at 8:30. Then our life groups meet at 9:45, and the Refuge Contemporary service begins at 11 a.m. We also have a midweek service every Wednesday at 6:30 p.m. So come join us at First Baptist Flora, where we're making much of Jesus.
Are you hosting an event? Let Burgers Blues Barbecue handle the food while you enjoy the moment. From an important lunch to a dreamy wedding, B3 Catering is sure to please everyone. Find Burgers Blues Barbecue online and click the catering tab, or just give us a call. And when you're dining out, visit Burgers Blues Barbecue in Flowood, Brandon, or Madison for incredible plates served fresh daily. Burgers Blues Barbecue and B3 Catering, a delicious combination.
And welcome back to the Andrew Gosser Show on 103.9 WYAB. You're listening to me on the radio and on stream, whether it be Rumble, X, YouTube, or that other social media network that begins with an F. We appreciate it all. Hey, look, if you haven't liked the stream yet, would you please do so and give me a follow on X? It's at Andrew Gasser, just at ANDREWGASSER. Excited for Wednesday, second hour of the show, everybody. We're going to have a guest, Mr. Blake Bartlam, on hour 2 on Wednesday. He's going back to high school on Thursday, so we had to get him in before his summer break was over. And it's amazing to see how we've got so many fired up young kids getting ready to get involved in this political system, and how some of these 16-year-olds have figured out how to do stuff better than some of us who are in our 50s. And we have to acknowledge that with these Zoomers, man. They are incredibly smart. They're incredibly talented. They have their anxiety devices, and they know how to use them for both good and bad. And we have to empower these kids and train them up. I know they don't like me calling them kids, but as we get older, they're just kids. Just like I'll always be a kid to my mom and to my political influencers. Andy, you're just a kid. He literally told me that just last month. Absolutely crazy. So that's what's going on there. Look, we got to talk about the Mississippi Today having this interview with Tommy Duff. And everybody knows that I'm a Illinois lefty G. I was not aware of Mr. Duff until about 3 or 4 months ago. And I've been following him. And, he's put a lot of money into a lot of Republican races around the state. And that's something that's not to be taken lightly. I always thought with Elon starting a new party, I'm like, instead of doing that, just focus on state politics. Like, he could completely redo the Texas legislature in one term for about an eighth of a cost of what it would take to maybe take 5 Congress seats. And especially if you have motivated candidates who know how to go out and walk around, go door to door, have people who are supporting them and say, hey, don't waste your time going to these places, just go to these places. Well, how do you know? Well, we've got the data and we know how to sort it, and we figure it out. But Mississippi Today, to their credit, did do a pretty good interview, a lot of leading questions. But this was the one that really kind of shocked me because I'm not sure, even though like Secretary White, Governor Reeves, they're putting out this stuff, and I saw it, and it was really neat when I posted it before the Secretary or the Governor. That was pretty cool. But we're onshoring more than almost any other state. The only states that have onshored more than us was South Carolina and Texas. We've onshored 12,400 jobs. So what does onshoring mean? Onshoring means that those jobs were originally in America, they went overseas, and now they're coming back to America. And they're coming to Mississippi because we've got great tax incentives. It's easy to do business here in Mississippi, despite what some people say. And it's really good. But Mississippi Today asked this question: with tariffs and trade policy being a central element of a political debate right now, what is your view on the trade-offs between free trade and getting products to market and protecting local industries? I think it's a concern for a lot of people in Mississippi. I think we have watched American manufacturing being a serious problem for the last 25 years. It's dissipated. We don't have the trades and the things we need. We are too dependent. I completely agree with that. I just really wish he would have spoke about how well our state is doing trying to claw back those jobs. And it would be interesting to see how he's going to go ahead and bring more of those jobs to Mississippi if he were to run for governor. Then the next one that was really interesting to me is, what is your perspective on that then on short-term economic costs, let's say, versus longer-term structural fix of the economy? Mississippi is one of the poorest states in the country. How should people in a state like this who are working class perceive these sorts of trade-offs? And he goes, obviously, it's a concern. The question of how much a concern it should be to the average Mississippian. Again, this is a short-term solution. It will have great long-term benefits. And I think what President Trump is trying to do is appropriate, and it will be successful in the end. And then he goes on and talks about tariffs a little more. I think the problem is that Unfortunately, due to the federal handouts that come into Mississippi, a little bit goes a long way because we are one of the poor states in the union. But what I'd also say, we are incredibly rich with our agriculture base. We know how to feed people. We know how to grow stuff. We know how to raise cattle and sheep. Don't want to forget the sheep. We know how to do that as Mississippi, and that should be our strength. And while we're doing that, we should also go ahead and bring in new technology bases like we are doing. There truly is no brain drain in Mississippi. Yes, there are the few that leave the state and don't come back, but we're staying right at level for the most part on population. We're producing doctors, we're producing lawyers, we're producing people who stay here. We've got it great. We've got a great education system. Now, it has a long way to go, but you can compare Mississippi to some of these other states. My goodness gracious, we're killing it. And we can get better. It's unfortunate that all it takes is one bad story and off it goes. And then it gets blasted all over the place. And the next thing you know, just like CNN says, it's on Twitter, just because it's on X, just because it's on that social media network that begins with a F, doesn't mean that it's real. And we always have to double and triple check our sources. But when the clock is broken, but it's right at that moment, you got to acknowledge that. This is a question on Social Security. Let's talk about the Social Security net. Private employers play an important role in providing access to health care, but is this segment of Mississippians that you need to rely on for public benefits? Do you think Mississippi should expand Medicaid? Ooh, that's a great question. There are a great many Republicans in the Mississippi State House who say no, and there are some who say yes. You know, I think there are so many different rules about Medicaid expansion. It's hard to always say I'm in favor of it or not in favor of it. Do people need to do better? Do people need better medical care in the state of Mississippi? Yes, sir. Do more people need to be included in that? Yes. The health care of our state is important, so we've got to offer those things through the businesses, through state assistance that helps all Mississippians have better health care. That's got to be one of the top responsibilities that we have. And we do. But this is again, no solutions, just sound bites. As someone who's come from a state that has watched Medicare and Medicaid completely wreck the healthcare system in Illinois, you do not want this. You do not want to happen, because you know what? It's like a quick shot and it spikes up for a moment, but then all of a sudden, not only does the healthcare improvement increase short term, but long term, the healthcare decreases. But yet, the short term healthcare prices go up modestly, very minimal. It's not bad. But then all of a sudden, it shoots way up, and no one can get the healthcare they need because it's all a pyramid scheme. And not only that, there are so many people who are on Medicare and Medicaid who don't need to be there, including illegal aliens and people who perpetrate Medicare and Medicaid fraud. That's out there. That'd be a great job for our Attorney General to go after all the Medicare and Medicaid fraud in Mississippi. That would be truly interesting. And it's just a great interview because you can get to learn about Mr. Duffy. I'm not saying, I don't know if he's going to run for governor or not, but he's definitely putting feelers out there. I will not be at Neshoba County next week. I would love to go. I would love to listen to Andy Gibson speak and to Delbert Hoseman speak. I listen to everybody. But guess what? I'll be on the air with y'all. And you guys are my first priority, and I'm grateful and thankful to each and every one of you. You're listening to the Andrew Gosser Show on 103.9 WYAB. We will be right back.
Keep it tuned here to 103.9 WYAB. This is Jack Hoffman. For nearly 31 years, Tico's Steakhouse has been a staple of fine dining in Jackson, Mississippi. Dad has long since desired for me to come work alongside him. And now that I'm here, I would like to invite you to come experience our family tradition of our hospitality, sizzling steaks, and healthy poured beverages. Our dining rooms are open and we are taking reservations. Our private rooms are also available along with takeout. Call today or stop in and experience Tico's in the second generation.
Tico's Steakhouse, East County Lime Road in Ridgeland, 601-956-1030.
It's time to put a little more sizzle in your red-hot Mississippi summer at Mazda of Jackson. Drive away on your road trip with a boost from Mazda of Jackson's $1,000 off owner loyalty reward and low 1.9% financing on a 2025 CX-90, CX-70, and the Assembled in America CX-50. And take advantage of the pre-tariff inventory before it's gone. It's time to choose Mazda. Shop online at MazdaofJackson.com or visit Mazda of Jackson, I-55 Frontage Road in Jackson.
CBS News brief. A federal judge blocks the Trump administration's efforts to defund Planned Parenthood, ordering it keep getting Medicaid funds. CBS's Christopher Cruz.
The judge granted the organization, the nation's largest abortion provider, a permanent injunction. It blocks the federal government from cutting Medicaid payments to Planned Parenthood clinics for non-abortion related care.
Police say multiple people have been shot at the Grand Sierra Casino in Reno, Nevada. A suspect's in custody. President Trump slashing the 50 days he gave Russia's Vladimir Putin to work out a Ukraine ceasefire deal.
I'd say 10 to 12 days. I'll announce it probably tonight or tomorrow. But there's no reason to wait. If you know what the answer is going to be, why wait?
And the president in Scotland urged Israel's Prime Minister Netanyahu to get food into Gaza, and he suggested a U.S. role.
We're going to set up food centers, and we're going to do it in conjunction with some very good people.
CBS News Brief. I'm Steve Kathan.
Friday mornings are special here on 103.9 WYAB. That's when we hit the pause button on the stressful issues of the day and enjoy interesting conversation and terrific music by some of the most outstanding artists in the world, all from Mississippi. I'm Jim Thorne, inviting you to join us every Friday morning at 9 for That's What's Happening's Blues and Arts Hour, made possible by Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Mississippi. It's good to be blue, and presented by one-of-a-kind, locally owned Fusion Coffee House, Highland Colony Parkway, Ridgeland.
Pure Air Consultants has always been your go-to for reliable and affordable heating and cooling systems, and now we are offering Day and Night brand to avoid the 25 to 30% increases that everyone is talking about. With Day and Night, Pure Air Consultants professionals can install a reliable system with a 10-year system warranty. And right now, receive $20 off on service diagnostic fees. Call us today, 601-939-7420, mypureairconsultants.com.
It's time for the most fun and exciting tournament of the summer, the WYAB Floorball at the Canton Country Club. Grab your tent, your grill, and your friends, and come get rowdy at the now famous 12th hole tailgate with a live DJ, cocktails, shots, cigars, vendors, and a $1,000 barbecue cook-off. This small-town community-based club with its newly renovated golf course and pool is the perfect retreat for you and your family. Call 601-859-6359 today for info on memberships, tee times, and tournament sponsorships for the WYAB Floorball, August 8th, 9th, and 10th at the Canton Country Club.
An American home just doesn't seem complete without that flag hanging from the pole on the porch. And where do you get that flag? In Jackson, it's at a complete flag source, I-55 North. You'll find U.S. and Mississippi flags in all sizes. And yes, that new Mississippi flag is available along with international flags and all state and territorial flags. They can build your flagpole and repair that ragged old flag. It's at CompleteFlags.com. That's CompleteFlags.com.
And we are back on the Andrew Gosser Show on 103.9 WYAB. We got to talk about Shad. And this is coming from Jackson Jambalaya, Kingfish, doing the report. And see, this is the kind of stuff that we need to talk about on the radio wave here, because this is something that won't necessarily always get reported locally, but it affects us all. And long story short, today, State Auditor Shad White announced that Tyler Loper of Stone County pleaded guilty to one count of embezzlement. He's going to be on probation for 5 years, have to pay back $2,754.80. In restitution, $1,500 in fines and another $300 to the Crimes Victim Compensation Fund. I know there's a lot of people who don't like Shad out there, and he's got an attitude, but he's doing work, and we're grateful for it. And I never want to not talk about that kind of stuff that's happening out there. What else we got going on here? The Epstein file. I hadn't talked about Elon yet and his article on Epstein, but remember we were talking about there are three options. You know, Elon starting his new political party. That's been a total flop. But him bringing attention to the Epstein list has been a complete success. And that's what this article from the Washington Post talks about. One person who stands vindicated on the enduring fallout of the Jeffrey Epstein scandal haunts President Donald Trump this month, his former advisor and friend, Elon Musk. I don't think it haunts. And I don't even need to read any more of that. I truly believe this is what they call in the wrestling business a work. And this work might go on for months or longer. But I think the only way to really bring attention to this was to do a long choreographed plan, which both Elon and President Trump have knowledge in, to make it get very personal, very spicy, make it to where all of a sudden people look like this is a chink in the armor. And the whole time it was the game plan. You know, there's sometimes where plans actually call for to get a chink in the armor. Not something that should be widely practiced or taken lightly, because once you get it, have it there, it's there forever. But when you look at everything now and how it's all lined up with Democrats not knowing which way to go, I mean, it has completely made the implosion of the Democratic Party even more severe, this tiff between Elon and President Trump. But it has actually brought the Republicans a little bit more united. You know, President Trump doesn't call this a waste of time anymore. Now you've got Democrats blaming Republicans who are blaming judges for why the Epstein files aren't out there. Meanwhile, it's all getting put together. It's all getting correlated. I mean, just look at what Don Bongino tweeted over the weekend, saying he's never going to be able to look at this country the same way again. Is that because of the Epstein files? Is that because of Russiagate? To me, it's very the correlation between Russiagate and the Epstein files is very interesting to me. It's almost like they're dragging each other along. One's bringing up, and then the other one shoots forward, then it drags the other one up again. And they keep on leapfrogging each other. Meanwhile, Republicans are getting stronger and stronger. And at some point, someone's going to spill the beans. Ghislaine Maxwell is still alive, by the way, which is a good thing. We need her to make it as long as she possibly can. To be fair, I think she is in a jail in Florida, and it'd probably be a little bit harder. Not a lot, but a little bit harder to try to get some corrupt people in there to try to take out Ghislaine, but she's still kicking, and we need to make sure that happens. You know, those interviews were finished, and everything got really quiet on the Epstein front. Did you notice that? And that's fine. Does that mean that we stop caring about it, stop talking about it? No. But at some point, things are going to change. At some point, those receipts are going to have to be paid. And you know, we got to thank Elon for kicking it all off in the biggest way possible. There was no bigger way. The mainstream media could have not publicized this better than the way that Elon Musk did it. And Elon has taken a hit. I don't know if you've looked at Tesla stock lately, but his Tesla business is really taking a hit for getting political, which is sad. Tesla cars are pretty awesome, but not necessarily should be paying the brunt of Elon's political choices, but they are. There's an article coming out of Kentucky, which is really frightening. They were harvesting organs out of a man who they thought was dead, and all of a sudden he wakes up on the operating table. And I don't know how this happens, but they actually stopped the procedure, and nothing else has been reported on it. But it's coming out of CBS 6 in Kentucky, and we talk about the sex trade, the women trafficking. You know, there's a big black market out there for organs, livers, hearts, what have you. And we've often wondered, those of us who are anti-abortion, and we knew that they were harvesting baby parts in abortions and in fetuses, you know, completely despicable against all HIPAA practices. And now this happens. It'll be interesting, and we will follow that. I've already bookmarked it and followed it up. And that's one of the things we do here on the Andrew Gosser Show is the show prep. Not only do we do daily show prep, but we're doing long-term stuff too. And we're about to really break something pretty big. And there are some clues out there about it. It's going to be a little bit scary, terrifying, quite frankly, that some of these things can be happening here in Mississippi, but they are. I mean, just look at the sex trafficking and child trafficking that was happening there in Alabama. There was another one that was just exposed in Florida. It's everywhere. And that's the other thing we don't hear about either lately are these ICE raids that are being completely successful in taking out a lot of people. It's almost like there's the initial shock of it, and people get their cell phones out there and they put it on X, and great. Put it on Rumble, great. They put it on YouTube, but it gets censored right away. And don't even put it on that other platform because that'll get taken down right away. But it's almost like we're desensitized to it, and I'm not sure that's a good thing. I'm not sure I ever want to be desensitized to sex trafficking and human trafficking. But we're just not hearing a lot about it. But ICE is out there daily doing the work that the president is asking them to do, doing the work that is codified into United States law and United States code. It's not like they're making up the rules by themselves. Again, all these sound bites coming from these liberal Democrats in the United States House, it makes an initial splash, but then it goes away. And Republicans, especially you grassroots people out there who I know are listening to me, listen to this. This is a great lesson. You can make a great initial splash, but if you don't have a follow-on game plan, you're going to make the splash, and then you're going to fall into irrelevancy. You'll be triangulated out of doing anything meaningful, and it will happen. Watch it happen all the time. There's got to be more than the big splash, and Democrats haven't learned that yet. And I hope that the conservative grassroots out there that are listening to this learn that lesson and tread wisely, because you're all needed out there. We need each and every one of you. You're listening to the Andrew Gosser Show on 103.9 WYAB. We will be right back.
But when you need backup power, you need a backup power generator from Mississippi Energy Services. Never again have to worry about being without heat, air conditioning, or all your frozen items spoiling because your energy was lost. You got backup power now, and it's so reliable, you'll be pleased with Mississippi Energy Services. Online at msenergy.us.
Can't take your team out to lunch? Have lunch brought to your team with Mangia Bene Catering. You already know Mangia Bene. They're the masterminds behind Broad Street Bakery, Bravo Italian Restaurant, and Sal and Mookie's. And now Mangia Bene wants to feed your office of 10, 100, or even 1,000. Delicious box lunches, salads, sandwiches. We even do breakfast. Take your next lunch meeting up a level. Mangia Bene Catering. Call Mangia Bene to get started. 601-362-2900. That's 601-362-2900.
Here's a word from John White, the owner of Two Gun Tactical in Flowood and Ridgeland.
I carry a gun every day, all the time. Last year in America, 2 million legal guns were pulled, and it stopped the threat. So I'm really wearing a firearm just to stop the threat. There's more likelihood of me just pulling it and not using it than there is using it. TwoGunTactical.com, TwoGunTactical.com.
Two Gun Tactical, the South's only country club.
Nick Bain served Mississippi for over a decade in the State House. During that time, he fought for our children by protecting them against explicit materials pushed by the woke agenda. He protected taxpayers by streamlining government and helped create policies that have made Mississippi better. Nick and his team at Bain Bowen will use the same tenacity in helping you with all your legal matters. Call them today at 601-953-2994. Find Nick online at bainbowen.com. That's BAIN Bowen.com.
Social Security belongs to you. You work hard and pay into it. So it's only fair for you to expect to get the money you've earned to help cover living expenses and bills, and not for politicians to use as a piggy bank. That's why AARP is fighting to protect your Social Security so you get what you've earned. Learn more at aarp.org/youearnedit. That's aarp.org/youearnedit. Paid for by AARP.
Well, I'm sitting here today with one of my favorite clients, Reggie Bromfield. The first time I believe we worked together was around 25 years ago, wasn't it, Reggie?
I remember that time. My wife, Kathy, and I, we were looking for a home. He sold that house to us, and when we got ready to buy another home, he helped us sell that home and buy another home. So 25 years later, when we decided to purchase another home, your name was the only one in our minds.
601-720-4037. RitaJensen.net.
Tools, paint, mowers, equipment parts, service, and rentals are all under one roof at Hometown Hardware in Flora. Hometown Hardware has what you need and professional staff to steer you in the right direction. Hometown Hardware carries top brands like Hustler, Steel, and Milwaukee. Hometown Hardware even has a full lumber yard, paint matching, pool water testing, propane filling, key cutting, and much more. Hometown Hardware, Highway 49 in Flora.
As Christians, it's our calling to be faithful to Christ and obedient to the Great Commission. Our heart's desire and prayer to God is that through our efforts, many would receive and rest upon Christ alone as he is offered to them in the gospel. I'm David Strain, Senior Minister at First Presbyterian Church of Jackson, inviting you and your family to join us as we strive to fulfill that mission. We're located on North State Street in Jackson. Times of our services can be found at fpcjackson.org. You can also hear the good news about Jesus Christ each Sunday morning at 9:30 on 103.9 WYAB.
And we are back for the final segment of the Andrew Gosser Show on today, the 28th of July. It's a Monday. And this is the last story I want to talk about. Then we got to take care of some programming and administration work. Turn your eyes to the skies Tuesday and Wednesday for the historic meteor activity. This is coming from Dark Horse Press. If you're a stargazer, the next few nights could be really exciting for you, as dozens of meteors will be streaming through the atmosphere. The Delta Aquarius and the Alpha, oh my goodness, I'm not even going to try to say that, will both peak. Cool thing is, you're going to be a meteor shower. Now, if you're, in an urban environment with all sorts of light pollution, it's probably not going to be that great. But I'll tell you what, out in Terry, where there's not a lot of light, it's going to be awesome. Really excited for the interview coming up this Wednesday, 11 a.m. Mr. Blake Bartlam is going to be on the radio day before school starts for him. He's going to high school, and it's incredible. I just, again, a lot of you have heard me talk about this, but it's something that I'm really sincere about here on the Andrew Gosser Show and this platform, is giving people a platform to get involved politically. And I don't have to agree with you on 100% of your stuff, but if I agree with you on 70 or 80 or even 90 or even more, I want to definitely get you on the air so that people can hear about what you're doing and your plans for the future. And this goes out to everybody who's listening, by the way. If that's something that you're considering doing, I'd love to talk to you and give you that. I originally really had no plans to get involved with politics in my life. I just wanted to go do space stuff and right off into the sunset that way. But life has a funny way of doing things like that. That's the first piece of news. Tomorrow, I will not be here. Mr. Chris Hinkle has graciously accepted to guest host tomorrow, which, Chris, I'm really grateful for. You can find him on X at BF Conservative, Blunt Force Conservative. He's going to do a great job, and I know he's going to bring a perspective that is similar to mine, but not completely like mine. And that's the best thing about this, is being able to, again, give somebody a platform to go out and maybe give you a point of view that you weren't necessarily thinking about. So I do believe he's going to try to stream. If he doesn't do it, though, we'll only be up on the radio, which is great because we love the radio and we're grateful and thankful for our sponsors. And we'll continue to go down that route. But Brother Chris is going to be here filling in for me. I'm grateful and thankful. If you're looking for something to do tonight, go rent The Demolition Man on Amazon Prime. And then send me a text on the text line at 601-879-5060 and let me know what you think about it. Wesley Snipes is just great in that movie. He really plays the villain well. A lot of cussing in it, but hey, it's 1996. What are you going to expect? But it's pretty. It was a pretty interesting movie in some of the things that were portrayed on the screen, and what we thought would never actually be realistic is turning into something that is absolutely insane. All right. Last thing we want to talk about coming up is the Neshoba County Fair. If you're a political guy like that, you're going to want to get involved, or gal, you're going to want to be involved in that. I believe it's next week, next Wednesday, Mama Hamels in Madison County. Bruce Bartlett out there is going to be doing his thing. If you've got the time, it starts at 11:30. Go get yourself a great meal and then go listen to some political speakers. Look, we got to encourage everybody to go to as many of these different meetings that we have. And I know Conservative Coalition is starting to kick back up. I know MPV are starting to kick back up. We want to make sure we get everybody involved. Everybody. You're listening to The Andrew Gosser Show on 103.9. I'll see you in 46 hours. Take care, everybody. Be blessed.